right now with FanDuel, if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL bets live all season long. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team and the Mountaineers every single day. Thank you guys so much, as I said earlier, for being here. Unfortunate news today with Chris Henry Jr. We'll get to that in segment 2 as he chooses the Buckeyes. And West Virginia did end up being in the Final Four there, according to the Pat McAfee show. But it seems like he turned down more money to go elsewhere. But we start where we start. Rich Rodriguez and company are closing in on one of the best remaining unsigned commits in the country. Samson Gash, 6 foot, 175-pound speed demon out of Detroit Catholic, one of the best high schools in that area, Detroit Catholic Central. So it's a super interesting situation. If you look at Greg Smith, who I spoke with a little bit earlier, he is a Rivals writer. He had put out an article today about this, and I messaged him and asked if I could share it, and he said yes. So I shared it. Basically, what it says is West Virginia is closing in on this player due to the fact that Alabama's wide receivers coach went to Oregon State to be the head coach there, and Michigan State, where obviously he's from, well, their head coach was fired. So this has been rumored for a long time now. Like, I remember looking back like 3 or 4 months ago and thinking, like, what, because like he was involved with West Virginia even then. Get down, baby. And but it seems like I thought he'd just stayed committed to Michigan State and signed on signing day. Like, I had totally forgot about this because I was following him from way back. And here we are. This article is updated today. And guys, this would be a monster pickup. This would be maybe not Chris Henry Jr., but he'd be the best receiver in the class by a long stretch to me. Yeah, he's really, really good. I mean, Seig is more of a do-it-all athlete, kind of like Rodney Gallagher. This is a true wideout that would give us that big-time wideout in this class. So we're going to check out some tape on him as well as break him down. But, yeah, this would be a big one. So let's get to the breakdown for this one. Like I said, Samson Gash, and it's out of Detroit Catholic Central. This is one of my favorite players I've studied this year. And, he had a ton of production on the ground and in the air, 117 receptions, 1,900 yards, 17 yards per catch average, 29 touchdowns, 50 carries, 512 yards, 10 yards a carry, 10 touchdowns, 3,621 all-purpose yards, 512 rushing, 1990 receiving, over 329 kick returns, 807 punt returns. Just do it all. You want to plug this guy in, he's going to impact every part of your team except for defense. That's the facts, right? Over his now those are career totals. His last year, caught around 60 balls for 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns, and he had 11 carries. Not for not very many yards, actually, but he's capable. What an incredible talent this is. When you break him down, he is a highlight reel catching speed demon with acceleration. Like, that's what he is, man. Probably Shelton Gibson is a great comp for this guy. Reminds me a lot of Shelton Gibson. Or who else would be this kind of that slender, but that slender 6-foot-ish kind of guy. I don't know. There's a couple different ones you could go with over the years for West Virginia, but this is certainly one. When you look at it, he has elite straight line speed, which allows him to stretch the field vertically and separate from defenders on these deep routes and turn short passes into long gains. And he's a track kid. That makes him a strong runner, obviously. As a route runner, he's got a solid foundation with that. He's got quick cuts, nice releases, but he is still developing some things and nuance. That'll get better in college, though. Contested catches and ball skills, this is where he really shines at. Competitive in any jump ball situation, really strong hands. He does a lot of those where, it's like Hail Mary type situation. He's jumping up. He's above everybody. I mean, he does such a great job in those situations, high pointing the ball, and he tracks the ball well. He adjusts mid route really well, and he's reliable. There's a reason he's graded so high. This cat, as a blocker, he's surprisingly tough, man. He is willing to engage in run blocking and sustain blocks downfield. That's really the truth. He does really well when it comes to that. He's also added physicality over his career because he wasn't always that way from what I read. So that's awesome. Obviously, we talked about on special teams, he's a wide receiver on offense, but he's a wildcat quarterback as well on offense. He's been there for them in different situations. So could he do that for West Virginia, similar to Rodney Gallagher where he was at? Yes. But this guy is much more of a receiver, like I said. 247 Sports Allen Trio says he's a highly productive against really good competition, elite track speed, and he stretches the field as good as anybody in Michigan right now. So that's pretty cool. They did say route running would be his biggest area need of improvement. So this is more of your straight line speed type guy, but I mean, we need those in this offense, right? So let's get to the tape on him, then we'll do the hard edge meter. This is a recording I took, which is one of the reasons I was late trying to get this recording out. You'll be impressed with what you see, I believe. Here he is in the slot. You'll see him come around on a reverse here and take the outside way and then just tightrope it down the sidelines all the way into the end zone. Nicely done there. You see him here on the outside. You'll see the speed here. Once he decides to make the cut, he just continuously pulls away from people. Nice adjustment and nice catch. And once again on the reverse, nice cuts. As you can see, he's got some movement. Look at the speed there. Nice cut again and just breaking it inside. So the vision's there. Here he is on punt return. Catching it at his own 50. Not a great punt, but it is high school. And you see he's got the quick twitch cutting ability that you need to be a good punt returner. And just a nice little waggle there at the last minute to make himself just enough room to get in there. You've got this here. This catch here is really impressive. I mean, that's an impressive catch. Way up to go get that one. So, and there's many, many more where he just runs straight slap away from people. So I spoke with the recruiting coordinator that was, the Rivals recruiting coordinator that wrote this article. And West Virginia is absolutely dead in this. Matter of fact, they're probably he didn't say this, but I was told by somebody else, West Virginia is the favorites right now. So you can really kind of get excited about this. Be hesitantly excited. Obviously, Michigan State could match they have funds too, right? So they could probably match, but they're under new leadership. Pat Fitzgerald's their new coach, right? So maybe Coach Fitzgerald coaches him up. And we all know Fitzgerald's a good coach. He did what he did at Northwestern with basically no support, right? Like he was good there for a long time. He was basically like 7 or 8 wins a year at Northwestern. Can you imagine how hard that would be? So what's he going to do at Michigan State where they've got a little more? I think he's got a chance to be good there and turn that program into something. So it worries me whenever he's in the other recruiting seat against you because he didn't. I mean, he was able to sell Northwestern. This is my point, right? If you can sell Northwestern, you can sell anything. So I imagine this is going to be a situation where West Virginia is going to be up against it, a tough competitor in recruiting. But I do think Rich Rod and company have a chance to pull this out. Now, there is speculation he could make his decision sooner rather than later. There's thoughts that he may wait until February, but I'm assuming that there's a real chance they might try to get him in here in the next couple of days or so, which would be monstrous, obviously. Either way, I'm assuming he probably wouldn't be an early enrollee, probably be a summer enrollee. So, that means he probably won't impact the team right away unless he's just elite, which does happen. I mean, we've had freshmen come in the summer and impact it before. A lot of the times because you can work with them even if they're not, and you can send them, like, it's just a lot more lenient these days. You can kind of get them caught up to speed on things. Yeah, so this is a kid that you can see making an impact, definitely year 2, but certainly maybe year 1, especially if you want to put him in on reverses, those kind of things. So those are all important guys. Going to break now. We'll come back. We'll talk about Chris Henry Jr. right after the break. All right, guys, we're back. Segment 2, talking a little bit about our friends at FanDuel. Guys, did you know with FanDuel, it's a pretty simple thing. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's why making live bets with FanDuel is so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. And with FanDuel, you can place live bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, defense tightens up, or the momentum flips over after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads, player props, and you can bet your touchdown, the next score, drive results, totals, and more. Keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season with FanDuel, you can place your live bets on all season long with FanDuel. The game moves fast, and so can you. All right, we're back here in Locked On West Virginia in segment 2, and I am going to send while I'm on here because we have a guest coming on for the third segment. So let's see here. Let me send this really quick, guys. I meant to send this out sooner than later. Okay. All right. So there is a link for the guest that will be coming in. Chaz, if you're in the chat, make sure he gets that. He'll be coming in anytime now. All right. Guys, Chris Henry Jr. obviously picked Ohio State today. I don't think anybody's shocked at that. It's one of those things where it's frustrating for me because I think a lot of us was really kind of led along to believe West Virginia had a real chance. And I think West Virginia made one of the highest offers from what I understand. I reached out to somebody that works with, people in the industry, obviously in recruiting, and a lot of people were tied into this on the back end as far as what other teams were offering. Nobody knew what Chris Henry was going to do at all. But at the end of the day, I think most of us realize that West Virginia made a real attempt here. I'm hearing some big numbers, man. I don't know. I haven't been able to verify any of them with anybody that would, but I mean, I people that work as reporters in this industry, like, I think I have a whole network of people that I work with, right? They're all Chris Levels, the sideline reporter for Locked On Texas Tech, right? Locked On Cougars. He's the radio host for BYU Sports during the day. Drake Toll, you guys know what he does. He worked for ESPN, but now he's the Savannah Bananas play-by-play, and he does play-by-play for other stuff. Spencer McLaughlin at Locked On College Football is the play-by-play voice of Southern Illinois. Like, all these guys are plugged in. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't think people realize the network of people I have to just reach out to ask things, what they're hearing around the country. So we get a lot of different information like that. We're on a group chat together. So a lot of times, a lot of the intel that I get comes from there, even though people think it comes from other places, and it just doesn't. But here's what I've learned over the years too. People are going to believe what they believe, regardless of where the people like to have their beliefs reaffirmed. So I've learned that if somebody dislikes you or hates you, they're going to look for ways to reaffirm that, right? It's just the way it is. Yeah, but Ohio stank. I'm so glad you guys remember that. Ohio stank, unfortunately, wins the day. But yeah, so it's one of those things where I guess we were all hoping that West Virginia was going to win this thing, but they didn't. And I don't know. When you look at it, I think you have to figure out what West Virginia can do in the future as far as keeping this relationship good, right? There's a reason, at least for me, that no bridges have been burned here. Like they could have been a couple different times if you look at when Neil Brown was here or whoever, like even Dana Holgerson when he was here, like, we've been told how he kind of treated former players and former players' coaches or former players' parents. Um, like with Tim Brown coming on, telling us that Dana Holgerson wouldn't even let him in the facility, Kevin Brown's dad. That was wild. So, it's probably no surprise that he didn't have much of a relationship with West Virginia. So, but now he does. And if he ever ends up in the portal, which you never know, I mean, that would kind of suck too, because it would mean he probably didn't do well wherever he was at. Or there's a coach firing, or I mean, if he does go in ever, hopefully it's because of like a coach firing or something, which ain't going to happen at Ohio State, unless Ryan Day loses to Michigan in the playoffs, maybe. But that's a whole nother story for another day. So, but obviously a lot of us were really hoping that Chris Henry could sign on the dotted line for West Virginia today. It did not happen. And I was talking to Chaz, a friend, earlier about this, who a lot of you guys may know is Chaz Rupert. He takes his boy around to all the different camps around the country and the Pike Road area there and in Alabama. And, he's a mover and shaker in the West Virginia community, I consider, because, like I said, he was the reason I was able to break the Pat White news. Like, that was him, he's from that area down there. But, he really brought up a great point to me on the phone earlier, which was, and this is a special case, so I don't want to speak so much on the Chris Henry situation, but guys are committing to other schools on the Pat McAfee show. Do you think it cheapens it for us? Or is it selfish for us to think that he would only use his show for us? I'm curious what you guys think about this. It's an interesting thought process or thought. It's an interesting thought process, whatever you want to say. Which way do you go on it? I've gone back and forth on it, because I would like to think that like what Kevin Brown did was something that we have that nobody else has. And I would love to go to Pat and tell him that, but at the same time, he's at ESPN. He needs ratings for things, but he talks about the NFL and all that stuff all day. Is Chris Henry going to be the biggest story of the day for him? Maybe, probably not. The playoff games they were talking, or the Detroit game, etc. All those things they were talking about, probably a little bit more nationally relevant, although the Chris Henry story is huge. But in the future, I'm just curious, do you think that if Pat starts allowing other places to announce on the show, I wonder if that is something that would cheapen the experience for like us at West Virginia when we get big ones? Just a thought, just a thought. I could be overreacting, absolutely, but I do think that we could hope that West Virginia kind of gets that locked in exclusively going forward. So that's the hope anyways. Let me see what's going on here. Maybe we'll just do a total different show with this guy here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. He may not be coming on, guys. If he doesn't, we'll just reschedule it. It's not the biggest deal. Oh, okay. Looks like he had an impromptu meeting come up. All right. Well, that's okay. We can go to break. We'll talk about West Virginia did sign somebody today, but I want to do a different episode on that. So we'll just talk about the recruiting class here right after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at R Frames. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap, it's a way to share memories, right? Because Aura isn't your average picture frame. You can pre-upload the frame with photos before gifting it. So when they plug it in, the memories are already there for them. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. And that's what we want for grandparents, parents, newlyweds, anyone who loves photos, there's an endless upload features within this, and you can get pictures of 30-second videos through the Aura app. So add a personalized message right inside the frame so it feels the gift is thoughtful the moment it is unwrapped. For a limited time, save perfect gifts by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named the #1 by Wirecutter. By using promo code college at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code college. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames do sell out fast. So order yours now to get in time for the holidays and support the show by mentioning Locked On West Virginia at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply. And thank you guys so much for joining back in with us on segment 3 here as we dive back into the conversation around West Virginia football. And did you know this? I'm going to be doing an episode on this as well, by the way. Let me get this pulled up first. So West Virginia jumped up to the top recruiting class in the Big 12 today. It's true. The #1 class in the Big 12 is now West Virginia's, and we're not done yet. We keep on bringing in higher rated players towards the end here. And if you, if you don't have anybody else come in, it should stay #1. I don't think Texas Tech's bringing anybody else in, but there should be, because you're going to keep making it better. There's another window in February as well, by the way. But this kid, the Gash kid that we talking about the opening, 4-star player across every board, would obviously you continue to distill it down into a higher and higher form with, it's the top 20 play. I don't think we've heard this a lot the last couple of days, but if you don't know, I've known about it for years. I thought everybody knew this, but I'm actually surprised how many people don't know that in recruiting, the recruiting services only pay attention to your top 20 recruits. Some services might be 25. I can't remember, but actually it's 19 for like on-3 arrivals. So your top 19 guys are what gets counted to figure out what your recruiting class rank is. So West Virginia's top 19 stands up with anybody in the Big 12s. That's just a fact. So it's a monster class. It's getting to be really big. I do worry about it being a bit too big. I think we need to slow her down right now while we can. But, there is a lot of, when you consider you're losing 30 seniors, it's maybe not as big as you thought. You got 105 roster spots. So, yeah, you're going to be young this year, and you're going to be pretty young next year. Should have a lot of guys ready to contribute, especially next year. If you keep 60% of these guys, which you probably won't, you're going to keep more than likely 40% of them, according to the numbers anyway. You should be in a pretty good spot to compete next year, especially guys like Matt Seig, Kevin Brown, Amari Lattimer, who I think will play this year. Hutchins and Triplett will play this year. Jalen Thomas will play this year. Like, if you want guys that are going to play this year, the first 5 or 6 guys you look at on our list is this year, flat out. So, okay, so Kevin Brown, probably a day 1 starter, if not in the rotation anyways. Worst case scenario, Kevin Brown's in the rotation. He's obviously got to gain 20 pounds or so, unless he's already there. I'm not really sure. Matt Seig is a guy I think will get playing time early as well. I don't know if he'll be a starter right away. He's just, as a true freshman, it's going to be really hard. Amari Lattimer, I think, will be a starter this year at some point. But unless we bring somebody else in the portal that's like, holy cow. But, Amari Lattimer is going to be tough to beat. I don't care who you bring in. I like him that much. Hutchins, yes, I think he'll play a lot early this year. Jalen Thomas, the nose tackle we got yesterday, love him. I think he'll probably be one of our rotating noses. Kedrick Triplett, yes, I think will play a lot this year. Outside of that, you get into a little bit of a guessing game. Rayshawn Reynolds, like all the JUCO guys are going to be in the rotation or play. What Rich Rod did, guys, was he went and said, Okay, who are the top 5 guys at every position in JUCO? Okay, I pick him. We didn't pick up anybody that wasn't a top 5 JUCO player, except 1 or 2 guys. If you look at, okay, like Rayshawn Reynolds, it was a top 10 JUCO corner. I believe maybe he was the number 1. Which one of them was number 1? Okay, no, Damon Allen was one of the number 1 ones. That's right. He was number 5. That's right. Okay, I'm getting it wrong. Damon Allen was the number 5 JUCO corner. Rayshawn Reynolds was number 10. So those are both top 10. Martavius Boswell, number 2 at his position. Right? So you take that one. You get Kedrick Triplett, he's number 4 at his position. You take Keon Hutchins, he's number 1 at his position in JUCO. Right? Jalen Thomas, number 7 at his position. The guy from earlier today that we just signed is also a Hutchinson guy. He was number 4 at his position. Rich Rod went up and down the JUCO board and said, okay, who's the best you guys got to offer? And they made offers to these guys, man. And they've done one heck of a job, you know. I mean, they really have. They've done one heck of a job on it. I'll be really interested to see what it is that they think about, like, some of these other guys. Like Greg Wilfred is another one, man. I love that kid. And he's rated the 2,277th player nationally, 327th at his position, number 56 in the state. And I think he's talented as hell. I really do. I just think it's funny how, you know, guys get missed on, you know, but it happens. I mean, he's a speedy wide receiver. So these guys get overlooked a lot, especially when they're only 5'9". It's just usually those guys are going like his list was Memphis, Troy, Louisiana Tech, South Alabama, and West Virginia. But then you put on the tape of him and you're like, well, I don't know, man. He's actually pretty darn talented. And you know, he's got a year left to go. That's something to consider as well. But man, he's got a ton of speed. Overall, great class for West Virginia, guys. Number 1 in the Big 12. We'll be doing a video on that later on today or tomorrow. Probably be today. That's just too, I mean, come on, man. Number 1 in the Big 12. So we're going to go. All right, guys. Seems like I don't know exactly what happened. My computer literally just shut down on me. So we're going to go ahead and jump out of here. I apologize for this technical error. I don't know what happened, but we're going to go ahead and jump up out of here, and we will talk to you guys on the next one. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and we will talk to you guys in a bit. Later.